Hey everybody, this is Mike. Welcome back to the Z Motorsports shop and channel. Today we have a flywheel that we're going to be lightening that's off of a 1931 Ford Model A. Member of the local Model A club here in the Ogden area is rebuilding the engine in his 31 Touring sedan, and we struck up a conversation the other day about flywheel weights. And one of the common mods on these for the performance side is to machine this whole outer ring down, machine this top lip down, basically turn it into a V8 flywheel and use the V8 clutch and pressure plate. That is a very common mod. I think over on Jalopy Journal, there's quite a few guys that have done that. It does improve the revs, obviously. You don't have a lot of horsepower that you're dealing with, but it does get the RPMs up a little quicker, obviously, less weight to spin. The downside to that is that weight can be beneficial in keeping that engine turning over and keeping those RPMs going. So say like on a touring sedan, for example, where he's going to be driving around town, parades, so forth, you're going to be turning a corner or whatever, that mass that's already moving is going to be able to, he's probably not going to have to downshift as he rounds a corner and just be able to accelerate back into the throttle after he makes the corner, and there's all that mass is already turning. It's just going to be able to accelerate and pick right back up. Whereas if it had the lightened flywheel or the V8 flywheel and everything in it, that's quite a bit lighter. I think they're like 40 pounds, 35 pounds lighter. You're going to lose those RPMs quick, and then you've got to downshift to build them back up. So we're going to kind of strike a mid-range here, and I'm not as up on the Model A, the old Model A engines as some of the guys around this area, but one of the mods that they've been doing is taking about 12 to 14 pounds off. So it's kind of a middle of the row, if you will. It's going to lighten it up a little bit, help with the revs, but it's not going to completely take that weight away that's going to help you, benefit you to accelerate on an already revving engine. So he's having the engine rebuilt, or he's rebuilding, let me back up, he's rebuilding the engine, he's having the crankshaft done on it and everything now. So we're going to go ahead and lighten this up so that when they add the weight to the crankshaft, they'll know how much to add to it to compensate for it in the center. So we're going to go ahead and remove, originally said 12 to 14, we're going to try to shoot for 13 as best we can. So I'll go ahead and change the angle, bring it in here. I just got my digital scale set up here. We'll weigh it, and then I'll remove the gap on the lathe. I've just got a little 13 by 40 lathe, but the flywheel measures just right at 14, and I'm about, I bet you 3/16 of an inch by missing it. So once I remove that gap, I should be able to spin 18 and a half easy, so it should be a problem. So we're going to go ahead and machine this outer rim, this ridge down here that's, I'm guessing probably about 2 1/4 inches. I'll probably go around 2 inches, and I'm going to bring it to this diameter here and then put a radius at the bottom, see where that lands us, and then whatever else we need, I'll come in the back side here and start taking it at an angle back in here and kind of see where that lands us. All right, so we got the scale zeroed out here. Let's go ahead and, so I'm going to do that without smashing my fingers. 62 right on the money. So 62 pounds. We will go ahead and make notation of that and go over and set it up in the lathe. All right, so I've got set up here in the forejaw, and I'm about 1.5 thou out. So I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to have to turn my tool post around and come in from this side, because I have to hang the tool post over this side. This is about as big as I can turn on this lathe. All right, turn the tool post just a little bit, so let's feed it and see what happens. Okay. Good news is it's cutting. I mentioned how much I kind of dislike cast iron. If not, let me reiterate, I'm not a big fan of cast iron. All right, we've got the outer ring, the outermost one turned down, and I'm just kind of stepping it back a little bit, and then I'll come in and put an angle, and so it chamfers out. So I'm just touching into this one. I'm going to start cutting this next ring. So there's basically about two, and so you got the largest diameter was here, and then it stepped down to this one, and then I'll step down to this diameter, and I'll probably even take a little bit because there's some meat even before the flywheel or the pressure plate bolts onto. So I'm all the way down on my diameter, and I'm going to go into this one maybe a pass or two, just clean everything up here, and then I've got to figure out how to come out and take this taper out to the edge, and then I can weigh it, and then I'll flip it around and see what I got to take it off the back side, kind of and I'll have an idea basically here. So it's going pretty good. Just slow going. I'm taking about 50 thousandths of a pass. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this last little bit up here. Actually a very nice cut. Very nice cut. So actually I could probably take a little bit more. I'm going to take another pass or two. There's plenty of meat. There's 3/4 of an inch of meat there. I'm going to take, I don't know, I'll take an 1/8 off maybe. All right, that's not a bad finish for cast iron. I'm going to go ahead and just change out my tool here real quick. Come in and break this edge. Okay, knock that edge off. Now I've got to get a little creative here on a boring bar setup or something in an angle, figure out what this angle is, and come in and cut out and clean that edge up. So I'm gonna figure that out real quick. Okay, so I've set my compound here at about 60 degrees. I think this angle here is just shy of 38 degrees, so we're going to cut it about 30. I flipped my boring bar upside down, so I'm just now coming in and centering it. Now this is going to be just the opposite of the other, where I'm actually, you want it to just kiss the top of that. Tool height gauge. Perfect, right there. Tool height gauge does come in handy. So now I'm going to run this over. Make sure this is showing up. And now I'm going to run this over and make sure. I've got all the power off. I just got the power switch thrown on the lathe here. Whenever I'm doing, whenever I'm setting up, I always just reach over and hit the E-stop to make sure. So I'm going to come over and get real close there, and then run the compound out, and it seems to be. I got to go a little bit more, I think, on the angle. The angle of the dangle needs to go just a smidgen, actually less. So I'm going to come in there. All right, I think that's going to get us. Right where we want to be. So now the key thing to remember on this is we're going to spin the lathe opposite direction. Yep, that's actually pretty close. I did that just by stopping short each pass, and that actually didn't go half bad. So now I'll just come in. And just keep taking small cuts until I get a nice smooth finish. Change the camera angle there. Let's see if this shows a little better. See if I can work around this. Oh, shit, maybe not. Let's see if I can work around this camera. All right, that's actually a very nice finish. I think I'll just come in and break that edge now. And I think we'll call this outer piece good and we'll weigh it. All right, so there is the diameter and the chamfer cut into it. For cast iron, the finish turned out pretty damn good. So I'm going to release it from the forejaw, take it over and weigh it. Scale on and zeroed. Let's see where we want to be, around 49 to 50. 51.4, so we've got between a pound and a half to take off, maybe even 2 pounds. Okay, so I ended up putting it back in the lathe and come in and cut a step down over and back up, see if I could get rid of that other pound and a half that I needed to. So we're gonna pull it out and bring it over to the scale and see where we're sitting. All right, let's see where this sits us. Ooh, 48.2. So we took off 13.8 pounds. He says 12 to 14 is where he wanted to be. We are there. All right, everybody. That pretty much concludes a little Saturday morning machining project here on a Ford Model A Flywheel. So just text the guy and asked him when he wanted to come and get it. So we're going to clean up the mess, which I got a big one. Cast iron makes a big mess. It's not my favorite thing to machine, but all in all, he wanted between 12 and 14 pounds removed, and we took off 13.8, so we're right in there in the parameters he asked for, so he can tell the guy who's doing his crank now, and hopefully he can get this thing back together. The weather's starting to really turn nice here in northern Utah, and I'm sure he's anxious to get out and cruise around in his car, so I'm sure he's anxious to get his engine back together. As for me, like I said, it's about noon on a Saturday. I'm going to clean up my mess and maybe grab the wife and hop on the bike and go for a ride. It's a beautiful day here. So thank you for watching, and if there's anything else you'd like to see, please, I welcome the comments. I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers. I've had quite a few in the last couple weeks, 30 or 40, so I hope this is a niche that people are liking. So as far as machining, a little bit of everything. So appreciate the likes, appreciate the views, and I welcome the comments. So thank you very much, and give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.